You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles, you race of good-for-nothings. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other nations have done, what other races have done, then you have better die.
Let's listen to Lumumba here. He's going to speak about, I'm not going to say former colonized, because we still under colonization. That's what I believe.
There is a sense in which many times when we talk about Africa, we have the tendency to overgeneralize. We have the tendency to speak of Africa as if she were one homogeneous country. You and me know that Africa is as diverse can be. We also recognize that the continent of Africa, contrary to what we are constantly reminded, continues to labor under colonial strictures.
Yep.
Because of neo-colonial strings.
Facts.
And those of us who many attempt to persuade not to look at colonialism and neo-colonialism refuse to do so. Because if you visit Angola, and Angola is represented here, they will remind you that there is a sense in which Portuguese strings still determine how they run their economics and how they run their institution. If you visit Cameroon, it cannot be gainsaid that the French strings still run their activities, and it may even be said that their presence is overbearing. If you visit Kenya or Zambia or any of the former British colonies, that is the reality. The reality is that if you visit Congo-Kinshasa, Brussels still has a presence. And in any event, even some of your standardizations still gravitate towards those colonial entities. And that is a reality that we must never run away from. One may give the example as was given here between Portugal and Brazil, but that is a different story. One may give the example of Singapore and the so-called United Kingdom. That is a different story. Yeah. African countries still belong to the Commonwealth of independent nations.
That's true.
And you have standards that are derived from that association. Former French colonies still belong to La Francophonie.
Yep.
And there is a sense in which that association is still alive and well.
He ain't lying.
But that notwithstanding, it cannot be denied that we in the continent of Africa are also co-authors of our difficulties. And that the time has come that we must think beyond lamentation. When many years ago, we took the view that we would found the Organization of African Unity, the early clarion call was that we would gain economic independence. Many years later, there is a sense in which that is not true. When the regional economic organizations were being founded, whether it was SADC in Southern Africa, or ECOWAS in West Africa, or East African Community in the eastern part of Africa, or in Central Africa, the understanding was that our economies would be run differently. Several years down the line, the report is that we are not running them as well as we should. Only the other day, I was listening to my head of state in Kenya telling the Republic that the Kenyan economy is now the 6th largest at a GDP of 136 billion. And then I looked at the annual gross turnover of a supermarket called Walmart in the United States. Its gross turnover last year is bigger than all the economies of East African countries combined.
Damn!
So even when we talk about our economies, we must be very shy.
Mm-hmm.
Shy because we are talking about little economies which continue to punch below their weight. And we are here talking to you, accountants general. When you perform your task, you must be in a position to have determined what is it that ails Africa. What is it that makes a continent that is so rich to underperform in such a manner in positions where you serve? Those of you who are slightly older will remember the IMF and our structural adjustment systems in the 1980s. They came, they told you, devalue. They came, they told you, borrow more. They came, they told you, privatize. They came, and they behaved as if one size fits all. The prescription that they gave in Zambia is the very same that they gave in Kenya. It is the very same that they gave in Nigeria and in Ghana. And you and me who are trained in their universities consume them lock, stock, and barrel.
Control! That's how they control us, African. Control!
And we still have a story to tell. When we visit our countries, our health facilities don't perform as they should. Our schools don't perform as well as they should. Our currencies don't perform as they should. I'm quite certain the 22 countries which are present here, almost all of you who are outside of Ghana are carrying dollars in your pockets.
Stupid motherfuckers.
Because the dollar is the only currency that will be understood and accepted even here in Ghana. None of you dare brought the Malodi from Lesotho. None of you dare brought the Rand from South Africa. None of you dare brought the Kwanza from Angola. We are all prisoners of currencies which we do not control. And
Ooh, my gosh, he's spreading facts here. Facts!
It's our responsibility to push forward so that the next generation will be further along than us.
African. It's so sad. When I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, this really goes on to our country. It's sad. He said it. Many of you are carrying dollar in your pocket. But can you see, no currency from Africa can be exchanged to different country of Africa. None but dollar it is. Sad.
Racism is a group system.
yet, on a daily basis, we say that our economies are doing well. The question is,
how?
What have we done and what we're not doing in a proper manner? You know, when I look at Africa, when I listen to our heads of state, when I listen to our foreign ministers, our finance ministers, when I listen to our accountants general such as yourselves, the rhetoric is right. You say the right things. You appear to do the right things. You appear to have the right legislation. You appear to have the right technology, if miss. You appear to use the same language, digitization. But why is it that Coca-Cola's advertisement budget is larger than the GDP of for questions that we must ask ourselves? Because it is not a shortage of legislation. It is not a shortage of policy framework. There must be something that we are doing that is not leading us into the right direction. And the question is, therefore, knowing as we do, that we are at crossroads, what is it, therefore, that we must do in order to liberate ourselves from the sorrow and pain that we continue to labor under over the years? You know, when you look at your mother continent and you look at her performance, you look at the declaration that she has made, you look at the diagnosis that she has made about our economy, you agree that she knows what is ailing her. Many of you know, in 1980, under the Lagos Plan of Action, African heads of states and governments sat and said that one of the things that is affecting Africa is that we are not trading as much as we should. Europe trades within ourselves at anything between 60 and 70%. America, North America at anything between 70 and 75%. Asia at between 60 and 65%. Latin America at between 45 and 55%. Africa at the very best, between 15 and 20%. We therefore took the view that we should move towards integration. We took the view that we should have common markets. We took the view that we should remove tariff and non-tariff barriers. Nothing happened after 1980. We sat again in Abuja in 1991, repeated the same thing, and nothing happened from 1991. We met again in Addis Ababa in 2013 and came with the grandest of them all, Africa Agenda 2063, founded on 7 pillars. If you read Africa Agenda 2063 and read the promises that we have given ourselves, then for those of you who will survive until that time, you will not need to go to heaven. Heaven will be here. But the question is, on the evidence that is available now, are we moving in that direction? No, we are not. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is headquartered here in Accra, Ghana. Since the year 2018, we have had Africa Continental Free Trade Area. But the question is, which goods are we trading amongst ourselves? Are we trading sugar from Mauritius in the continent of Africa? Are we trading tea from Nairobi, Kenya, here in Ghana? Is cocoa from Ghana going to Botswana or South Africa, or is going to Brussels in Belgium and Bern in Switzerland? The shoes that you are so comfortably wearing, where are they made? The tags that you are wearing around your neck, I suspect they are from China. This is the position in which we find ourselves, so that if Africa is to realize the potential, Africa must rethink the manner in which it does things. Today, we say that Africa can only rise on the basis of the regional economic communities. Let us examine each one of them one by one.
As we heard, Lumumba is speaking over there. He's giving a lot of good point over there. Let us examine everything one by one. But let's go back over there. I'm not really going to speak much about anything because we heard everything that Lumumba is saying over there is education for us African. We need to learn. We need to start looking deep to ourselves. How can we progress? How can we be best of us, best vision? Because African, like I always said, and Lumumba, he said it all, that idea that they have is still repeating. They keep repeating the same thing. Nothing is changing. And listen to in the beginning what he said over there. We had independence, but who is controlling us? Why are we still struggling? Why we don't trade? Where is our goods going? Why are we still carrying dollar in our pocket, but we don't carry each other dollar? Who's controlling us? What is not working? What is the problem with us in Africa, in the continent of Africa? What can we do? Or our leader in Africa, what can they do so they can really make a difference? History tends to repeat itself. Can you see, we keep repeating the same thing. Progression is not happening when it comes to us African. We talk about GDP. Kenya GDP is making... Look at this. He said over there, our leader, when they're talking about the GDP, they need to try to understand, you know, be a little bit cautious and have a little bit shame when you're talking about our GDP. What GDP? Why GDP is growing? The sad part is they'll open their mouth as though like we're making any progression. No, we should be ashamed of ourselves. He said over there, our education is not striving the way it's supposed to strive. Listen to Marcus Messiah Garvey when he said, education, science is our way. Believing in your God, yourself, and your country. Garvey was talking like this. We don't have belief in ourselves as African. We never do. We have believed in the European, in the American. That's what I believe it is about. But when it comes to African, we don't have that. We are loud, we talk. That's why you can see, you go left and right, you get discrimination everywhere. Even a country like Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, the discrimination is even worse than the European. And the people there, they put us in so much misery is them country. The European, they came after. But do you know what? We still gonna run. Go in Morocco, go to Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Libya. You'll see black, they still go over there. They will suffer in pain of discrimination. They will suffer in silence. I'd rather be there, suffer. I don't care even in my country, Iraq, dead. I don't care about my country. That's who we are. I won't look to my country. I will look to other. Even if I'm suffering, that's what we like. We suffer in silence. What is wrong with us? We like to suffer in silence. Even if we're trying to bark, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. The people that tear us down, they're just us. All them entitlement we have in Africa, all our leader, they have that entitlement. I'm doing so well in my country. No, that's entitlement. Our country don't do well. Nothing. Because the people that's suffering is our young people, men and female. They're suffering more. It's sad. I don't know how our president, they see things, how our leader, they see things. How are they blind? What can they make a change? They see things in a different way, but there's still no progression. But to them, they think we're making progression. If it was making progression to our country, there is a lot of job that is making the GDP is growing. Trust me, majority of the African people, that they think about the African, they will go back. But because we're not doing anything, that's so. We need to start be careful what we say, especially African leader. We need to be careful. Let the work show the progression that you're making. Don't let your mouth take over, but the work action, it need to show, but not your mouth. Because your mouth can say anything, trust me, it can be 10 years, nothing is still changing. 5 years, nothing is changing. Look at that, you have president in Africa, that they've been there for decades, for 45 years, they're still in power. Nothing has changed. So it was just opinion. I hope we can give something great to a young black men and female so they can learn and so they can have visionary for African, so they can strive for African, so they can know Africa needs to be great. I would like it if you can subscribe and share. Please give me a thumb up. I'll appreciate that. I'll get you out to the next one. Peace.
They came. They told you. Diwali. They came. They told you. Borrow more. They came. They told you. Privatize. They came. And they behaved as if one size fits all.